everyone. I'm currently on a beautiful little island off Bali called Gili Meno, and it doesn't even have, cars, motorbikes, only horse-drawn carts, which I didn't realise. Had I known earlier, I would have packed less luggage. Did apologise to the horse key. Anyway, I've been wanting to just share my reflections on love before the sun moved out of Taurus, and literally right now I'm watching the sunset on the last day of Taurus, which also happens to be the day I birthed my daughter 15 years ago. And yeah, Taurus, when the sun moves through Taurus, it really evokes the archetypal energy of Aphrodite, also known as Venus or Freya or Yamaya. Hi, Rel. Hi, Jen. And so this brings up for us our lessons in love. So you might have noticed in the last, 28, 30 days that there were tests that came up for you, whether that was in relationship to a lover or your children or your neighbours, your work colleagues or families, but lessons in love to see how far you've come, in terms of creating choices that are based on self-love. Ultimate test and challenge when it comes to our inner Aphrodite, the archetype, the feminine archetype or inner goddess that governs our sacral chakra, which is why I'm sitting on an orange beanbag here in my orange beach towel. So I'm here to heal my sacral. I had a powerful swim in the womb of the mother there in the ocean this morning, and it's a white coral beach. So, coral for me, that energy is about restoring the innocence. So even though we've been hurt, even though we've endured emotional pain through our lessons in relationship, we can always return to the buoyancy of the salt water, the sort of the brine, the amniotic fluid. I'm not saying that correctly, but anyway, the womb waters of the Great Mother, in order to come back to that sense of joy and innocence and trust that we had as a child up until the age of 7. Hi, Ray. Hola. I'll just share a little bit of what's been happening for me personally in terms of lessons in love, because, we're all connected. So I figure this has to strike a chord with others. I came to a realization that I needed to divorce my family of origin this week, which is pretty intense, pretty heavy. And I won't go into all the, soap opera of it, but at the end of the day, one has to ask, is this a loving situation? Are these loving dynamics? And love, we feel love when we feel truly seen, when we feel truly understood, and appreciated for who we are on the inside. And so it's not self-loving to keep exposing ourselves to those who are incapable of truly seeing our soul and understanding our soul. So if you have, whether that's a partner or family members that are operating primarily out of the rational mind, so out of the solar plexus, the lower rational plane, they often will only be capable of seeing life in black and white, seeing things as good and bad, or, judging, criticizing. And if you don't fit with their worldview, with their compartmentalized thoughts of how reality should be, then chances are you're going to be cut down. You're going to be constantly criticized and judged as not being right, because you don't necessarily fit with their worldview. And everyone is entitled to their opinion, but it's up to us to set self-loving boundaries around, what we expose ourselves to. So for me, it coincided with Mother's Day. I have Black Lilith in the 4th house, so my mother had the same placement, and what that can play out as is being scapegoated as a bad mother. And so I've experienced this from a number of factions in my family, and whilst I know I took that on as a soul for the entertainment and lessons that would gift me, I've now fortunately reached a point at 47, going through another Venus return this year. Every 8 years, Venus comes back and gives us the opportunity to really step into more of our fullness in our feminine power and juiciness and wisdom. So yeah, this Venus return, and look, if you're if you know your 8 times table, you can work out if you're having a Venus return this year as well. I'll be speaking more about the astrological transits that initiate us in the Rites of Passage course that'll be coming out later this year. But so that was a painful episode this week. Someone said to me, my dear mentor, in fact, Jennifer Powell, who initiated me into Women's Mysteries over 20 years ago, and wow, what a gift she has been. She's taught me unconditional love, such fierce, fierce love. And that's the thing, if we recognize where we're not being perhaps loved maternally or paternally, and we say no to that which doesn't feel good, we then open the space for a substitute, for a surrogate mum or a surrogate dad, an elder in our community who truly does see us. And I'm lucky enough to have had that in my life, which has been a great, great gift in the form of Jennifer Powell for me, who I speak with often on Skype, and she's really, just been incredible. And another dear, close friend of mine, Annie, who, has been so maternal towards me and my daughter. So it's good to also be grateful for where love comes in unexpected ways, not always in the form and in the way that we would have liked or hoped or expected it to come based on the traditional roles of mother, father. But it doesn't mean that it's not available to us from the wider community. And this is an invitation for all of us who are, feeling, that the group mind, whether that's family or church or your peers at work or your friendship group, maybe you're starting to feel like you have outgrown them, that your values and who you are is not able to be really embraced and supported and validated by them. And in that case, you're going through an individuation phase, and we do that on a cyclic basis throughout our life. If we dare to go it alone, the third stage is then conscious community, which is when people connect who are not necessarily from the same blood or clan of origin, or from the same church or the same neighborhood, but people who come together because they're aligned in their souls. They have similar values, a similar outlook. And this is what's currently taking place on the planet. We are stepping into an energy of oneness, which means we're all in this together. So we're looking at how we can find our strength by creating conscious community, even though that may not look as if we're living together in a residential community, but opportunities to come together with like-minded and like-hearted souls. So I also had a dear friend this week who, was feeling a bit soul sad. And one by one, she had, I think, 6 or 7 red and white toadstools come up in a fairy ring in her front garden, which again is a beautiful testament that love can come in unexpected ways. For her, it was coming from, the nature divas, the Fae kingdom in her garden, letting her know, hey, we see you. We appreciate you. This is a dear sister who's looking after my sacred objects and, has been pivotal on my magical path. And when we open to giving ourselves opportunities, like, to come to this island. I mean, I'm not flush, but I just went, you know what? I need this. I need some beach time. I need to connect with my inner Aphrodite. And here I am. So I just encourage you to think beyond, what you think is possible for yourself, and be generous with yourself. We've just had Uranus move into Taurus for the next 7 years. It happened this week. And so this is pointing, if you will, to a whole cycle of us following love. Yeah, that love is the motivator for us having more pleasure, for us being more grounded, for us opening to sensuality as a way to de-stress. Because those of us from the West, we have been conditioned through long hours in institutions such as schools to become workaholics, and I know I have been. And so pleasure, it gives us soma. Soma. It's very important that we extract the essence of pleasure, of soma, to de-stress on a regular basis. So for the next 7 years, this is the invitation that Uranus, the planet of the future, the planet of our highest potential and destiny, is asking us to do, to experience more pleasure. So if you're running old stories that, pleasure is something other people have and, it's not available to you, this is, you're being put on notice to question where perhaps you're limiting possibility for yourself. So on that note, I do want to share with you, I've got a couple of opportunities if you'd like to join me in Bali, 2 retreats this year. And one's in September, one's in December, one's for women, one is for men and women. And I was writing an email about the Rainbow Bridge one just prior to coming down to the beach, and then I saw a rainbow, which is a great sign. But both of these retreats are an invitation to really move beyond stories of lack and limitation and seeing yourself as the outsider or one who can't have it all, and stepping into your divine self, your inner God, goddess, that inner creator who can create the life that your soul is hungering for, is deeply, deeply desiring. So if you'd like to check out those retreats, there's payment plans, there's non-residential options as well. So I've tried to make it as accessible as possible. But yeah, if you'd like to live life large, then come join me. The details are on the website, which is themoonwoman.com. So as the sun sets on Taurus, or the sun in Taurus, I just invite you to be really generous with yourself and look at where there are situations in your life that don't feel loving, and say that's enough, okay? And set a boundary, knowing that you deserve love, you deserve to be seen, you deserve to be appreciated and honored wherever you are. And if you're not, then you have every right to set a boundary, knowing that will create a new set of circumstances. So blessings wherever you are in the world. May you be truly loved, truly seen, truly understood. And from there, anything is possible. All right, ciao for now.